Today we are well into the Christmas season, the third Sunday of Advent, the day for joy. Advent is a time of preparations in getting going as we wait for the birth of Jesus Christ, God incarnate in our midst. Today's the day that we've lit the pink candle to symbolize the joy that Christ brings. When I see Christmas lights and candles, I feel the joy of Christ's love entering into my heart. The other night, as my family traveled through the neighborhoods of Georgetown to see the light displays in our annual tradition, going by Dominion Gardens, Old Pinecrest, Samuel Crescent, and in Johnson Crescent, where the Lambert family have all their lights flickering and dazzling all over the home for the neighborhood to see. Over 50,000 lights are on display, flickering to the sound of the music as the beat goes on. If you listen to the commentary by one of the Lambert's children, you'll hear that they've been doing these displays for some 17 years, and in the past 4 years they've been raising money for the hospital. Almost $40,000 have been donated by passers-by, sending their gifts into their little mailbox they have at the end of the driveway. I hear an incredible resounding joy when I see that display, and I know that all these people are streaming in, offering their gifts. This week we hear the resounding joy in so many ways, in the congregation and in the community at large. Today we hear the wonderful talents of our church choir. It is now going to be the largest choir, I believe, for the cantata singing tonight. In his sermon 2 weeks ago, Reverend Tom Bandy spoke of the choir being good when he was minister 30 years ago. And then he spoke of the choir being better now. And I have to say, in all the years I've been in ministry, you are the best choir that I've ever worked with. And I thank you for that. You are. And I can't wait to hear the cantata tonight. The resounding joy in the voices of our choir will fill the room and bless our souls. Today we bring our white gifts, given to families in need in our community that are having a hard time in this Christmas time. Wagons full of gifts brought forward abound. Gifts of toys given out of the hearts, given to the Salvation Army for them to distribute around the community. And then the food given to the breadbasket for those who are hungry. I was on Facebook the other day, and someone asked a question in a group that I'm a part of, how they could get help for a family in need. People offered suggestions of churches and Salvation Army and links to care and organizations, and then someone posed the question, why not all of us? Why can't we in this group offer our help to that family in question? And as soon as that happened, a number of people started offering gift cards and started offering toys, and where can I drop it off? How can I do that? What ages are the children? Incredible, resounding joy in the hearts of strangers coming together for people in need. And here's another story that happened just this week. I bought an item on the Storage Wars auction. Now, some of you in the inner circle here know that I'm a big fanatic of the Storage Wars, okay? So I saw this coffee maker that was for sale on auction. It was a commercial grade coffee maker, and it was going for a very small sum, and I ended up winning the auction for $50. So this particular item is worth $500 new, and I paid $50 for it as the winning bidder. I was bidding against this guy in the last moment of the auction, and as soon as I was declared the winner of the auction and to make arrangements to pick up this coffee maker, the other bidder I was bidding against messaged me and says, I'll give you the $50 because I had said it was for the church. He says, I'll give it as a donation to the church. And I thought, wow, that was incredible gift of generosity. The very next day, he shows up with a $50 bill to pay for that. And there was an audience of people to witness this transaction. I know Valerie and some of the other men were there. And the sense of joy in our faces as this wonderful gentleman came in to offer that. So now for those in the catering, there is a new coffee maker in the kitchen that works, and it will be plugged in with the water supply, and it's a great machine. So we are very fortunate to that. Christmas is a season for giving. Giving from our hearts, giving from our hands, and giving from our souls. But it's not about receiving gifts. It's not about what we get. It's about giving joyfully. God gave us Jesus Christ, born in a lowly manger, for all of us to behold. When we give joyfully out of our love for others, we are bearing the light of Christ that the prophet proclaims, that John the Baptist proclaims. We are shining brightly the light that is enkindled in our heart, that we're radiating that love of Christian understanding and well-being for others to see in the world. In our reading from Isaiah 35, we see the resounding joy in the words that are spoken. We see that the wilderness and the crocuses are becoming lush and green again. Now, if you think of the history of the book of Isaiah, this is at a period that happens after the temple has been destroyed, and now they're in the rebuild. Now they're seeing a sense of joy and the lushness that the wilderness is becoming more lush again. The burning desert sand is becoming like a pool, with well springs gushing water up as high as the eye can see. Joy has come to the people of Israel once again. And we also see in the message from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 11, a sense of joy. John the Baptist, although he is sitting in prison, not too much of a joyful place to be, mind you, but there's a sense of joy that the Messiah, the promised one from the prophets, is come. He hears of the wondrous things that the Messiah is doing. But John questions if the Messiah, meaning Jesus, is the one who had been promised or is there another Messiah that they're waiting for. So he sends his disciples out to find out if it is in fact Jesus, the Messiah, that had been promised by the prophets long ago. And he asks the question, "Are you the one that is to come?" And Jesus answers John's disciple indirectly. He does not say yes, he does not say yo, but he instructs John's disciples to go and to tell John that the prophecies of Isaiah are fulfilled. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the dead are raised, and the poor have good news preached to them. That is the good news. That is the resounding joy that comes with Christ being present in our world and in our lives. John proclaimed the coming of the Messiah, the one who is to save the day, the one who brings salvation, the one who will give joy to the people of Israel and bring joy to all of us too. John was doing the things that came natural to him. He was a servant of God, proclaiming the good news of God's work in the world. But unfortunately for John, he got in with the wrong crowd, and he was thrown into jail by the Roman authorities, making an attempt to prepare the way for the Messiah, to show hope for others. But in Matthew's Gospel, John the Baptist prepares the way for the Lord in the wilderness, making the pathways straight and easy to follow, showing people the direction of the coming Messiah, that he will make your pathways straight and give you joy, peace, and hope. John prepares the way in our hearts during Advent so that we can be receiving of that love and that joy and that hope, that peace that comes through our faith in Jesus Christ. The good news in the gospel this morning is that joy will come to those who wait. John waited in prison for the Messiah to come, and joy can come to those who need it most. I have someone that I know personally who is in prison. And this is an individual who has had a rough go of life. And in this season of Christmas and joy and love, you think that would be one of the hardest places to be, to not be close to family and friends. But yet he rejoices in the good news that he has found God in his life. I spoke to him on the phone the other day and realized that he is in fact rejoicing. In the midst of that darkness, it is possible. And that's, I think, what John was feeling as well, expressing that resounding joy in the midst of despair, so that others could receive the joy and the blessing that comes through God. In our world, we too can experience joy when we wait for God and when we are in a relationship. There is wisdom in the Scriptures that help us lead joyful lives. Being in a relationship with Christ through our devotions and community groups, can we experience joy in this season of giving? As I close my sermon today, I want to show you a video of something that touched my heart. I heard the resounding joy, and it brought me to tears. So you might want to have a Kleenex box handy. So I want to show you this video. It's by a young person by the name of Catherine Stewart. And some of you may have heard of her before, but she lives just a couple blocks from us. And she battled cancer for 5 years. And I want you to show this video now.
This year, the holidays are going to be different. This year, I'll prove that I've got game, and I'll do it for less. This year, my kids will think my gifts are pretty fly. And my daughter will love a gift that's actually for everyone else. With Price Match Guarantee plus 5% off with my Red Card, I'm getting unbeatable prices at Target.
Well, the Stewart family in Georgetown has been on a 5.5-year journey that has been both wretched and remarkable. Tonight's Inside Story, Catherine versus Cancer. This is Catherine Stewart in 2008, just 5 years old. Shining eyes, flowing hair, impish grin. The picture, a stark contrast to the news that has just been delivered.
There aren't any words. There aren't any way to describe how it felt. I remember sitting in that room and hearing those words.
Those words, neuroblastoma, stage 4, aggressive, difficult to treat, deadly. Catherine undergoes radical treatment, including 2 stem cell transplants that leave her in the isolation ward over Christmas.
Today is December 24th, and Catherine's getting ready for Christmas Eve.
Santa came in the morning and visited Catherine along with an elf, and they brought in presents for Catherine, and they made it very, very special.
Over the next 2 long years, Catherine lives life to the fullest, that smile ever present despite being bombarded by massive amounts of chemo, radiation, and surgery. And in that battle between Catherine and cancer, Catherine was coming out the victor. Doctors were very optimistic.
They were very hopeful. Her scans were good. So they believed that she was going to be one of the very fortunate kids who treatment worked, and she was going to remain cancer-free.
In August of 2012, though, routine scans steal that hope.
We were told there was 2 lesions on her spine that was cancer.
She relapsed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it was inoperable, and we were told they had a standard of care that would give her quality of life, and that was the best they could offer.
Quality of life meaning?
She would never be cancer-free again.
The relapse means Catherine is in for more punishing rounds of chemo, so much, in fact, that the drug was no longer considered safe.
She had had her lifetime amount of that chemo drug. Any more, she runs a significant risk of a secondary cancer.
Last February, Catherine goes in for a routine scan.
Whenever you go in for results, there's always an ominous feeling of, what are they going to tell me now? And they came in and they were all grinning, and they were like, it's gone. It's gone. Speechless. Here, Catherine. Here, Jeff.
Welcome to Christmas 2013, the first in 6 years with no treatments, no hospitals, no cancer.
This Christmas is different. I don't have to be at the hospital anymore. There are a lot of Christmases that I've been home, but none that I have been off everything.
And what you're looking at right now, 10-year-old Catherine in school full-time for the first time ever, working on the set for the upcoming Christmas pageant at George Kennedy Public School in Georgetown, is a simple Christmas wish that for years has seemed ungrantable.
Why do you believe that Catherine survived this?
Obviously, access to the medical care that we can get, but I also believe she's a miracle. I believe our faith is that God has a very special purpose for Catherine. Her time's not done. She has a bigger purpose.
It changes your perspective of life. Like, a lot of kids get upset or get angry about little things, and to me now it doesn't seem like that much.
This is going to be a very special Christmas for you.
Very special Christmas. Doesn't matter what's under the tree, it's who's around it. And we have quite a few friends who are having their first Christmas without their kids this year. And we're just grateful we have her.
Hope and believe, right, guys?
Yep.
What a great story.
It doesn't matter what's under the tree, it's who's around it. It's so true.
How often do you hear a 10-year-old sing?
An incredible story, isn't it? Catherine goes to school just a year older than Katie, and I see her regularly whenever I volunteer at George Kennedy, and I see her mother, Heather, beaming happily that Catherine is cancer-free. That is just an incredible miracle story that brings joy to my heart. You know, I talk about resounding joy. That just captures it all, and I don't think words can possibly say enough, but it's not about what's under the tree, it's around who's around it. And I think that is an absolute testimony and truth that God is ever present in our life. And it is God and belief and hope that comes through faith that carries us through those difficult times so that we can have resounding joy in our lives. Thanks be to God. Amen.